We once again find ourselves in the footballing world where a league that isn't the Premier League has an incredible title race going on, and that quite frankly is a lot more entertaining. This time around, we turn our attention to the one league that actually has an argument to be better than the Prem, La Liga. As I've mentioned before, a good title race is usually determined by how many teams really have a chance to win the league. And we all know the three major players in Spain are Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Real Madrid. But generally speaking, by this point in the campaign, there's usually one team that's starting to run away with it, or it becomes a battle between just two of the three. Well, this year with 14 games to go, there's no telling who's even gonna win the league. Heck, Antony might even lead Betis on an unbeaten run at this point. Who really knows? The big three dogs have all created great squads as Real has birthed a new Galacticos period, Atleti acquired top talent from the Premier League, and Barcelona have had a fresh crop of La Masia products who are playing at elite levels along their established stars. Which leads us to the point that we are of match day 24. Barcelona and Madrid are tied on points at first and second place, and Atleti is just 1 point behind both of them. Tell me that doesn't get you excited, I dare you. And the best part of this all is the fact that Barcelona earlier this season had a 10-point lead at first place, but have fumbled that tremendously, and now here we are. And real quick boys, if you're new to the channel and enjoying the content, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're dropping weekly football videos, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And if you're not new to the channel boys, welcome back. Glad to have you around for another video. With that being said boys, let's get into the dramatic state that La Liga finds itself in. So the last time I talked about La Liga is when I discussed Atletico and the great season that they had been having to date. And this was match day 18, so I think it's best that we pick off there. And I've already shown you guys the league table, so I'm not going to pretend it's some secret, but let's see what's happened in La Liga since we last talked about Atletico Madrid. Well, to cap off match day 18, as I talked about in that video, Atletico were going up against Barca in a match that will see one of the two teams come out on top of the table. Barcelona, who were riddled with injuries at this point of the season, needed a big win, and having not lost to Atletico and Catalan soil for a long time now, it felt like Barcelona would come out on top. In this match, we would go on to see an absolute Pedri masterclass as he showed Simeone and Atletico Madrid what it really meant to play football, none of that haram ball nonsense. And with this, Barcelona would go up into halftime 1-0 as Pedri would get himself a goal. However, the remainder of the match consisted of Pedri's teammates all doing their best Alejandro Garnacho impressions as they failed to capitalize on countless big chances. From here, haram ball would reign supreme as Atleti would score an equalizer at the 60th minute through Messi's bodyguard, and an eventual winner through Timo Holland at the death of the game. Over at Real Madrid, they would be going up against Sevilla in a match that would really be light work for them. Goals from Mbappe, Valverde, and Rodrigo would see Los Blancos up 3-1 by halftime, and a Brahim Diaz goal in the second half pretty much sealed the deal for them, meaning the Madrid sides were sitting at first and second at the end of match day 18, with Barcelona seemingly falling behind. For match day 19, Atletico Madrid would be up against Osasuna in a match that on paper should have been easy for them. Despite having Simeone at the helm, Atletico would be in the driver's seat for the majority of the match. At the 15th minute, Griezmann would do his best possible KSI impression as he would use his elbow in order to come out on top. After having this goal disallowed, Atleti would continue to carve out chance after chance until Julian Alvarez would find the winner at the 55th minute. This week, Barcelona would go up against a Mallorca side who, all things considered, have been having a decent season. With Barcelona in a bit of a slump and playing away from home, it felt like there was a chance for something special to happen on Mallorca's end. But after the Mallorca defenders did their best EAFC impressions, Ferran Torres would find the opening goal to put Barcelona ahead. Mallorca just before halftime exposed Barcelona's back line and managed to find an equalizer. However, the second half would see Barcelona, as the kids say, put belt to ass, and with goals from Rafinha, De Jong, and Pau Victor, came out as 5-1 victors. This result will be a massive boost for morale as they look to make their way back up the league table. Real Madrid would be the losers this week as everyone's favorite Ninja Turtle would shoot Madrid in the foot. Against Atletico Bilbao away from home with a very depleted back line, things were always going to be spooky for Madrid. After failing to properly clear a cross in the 53rd minute, Bilbao would find their opener and it wasn't looking pretty. However, Real would get a lifeline in the 67th minute as a penalty was awarded to Real, and all Mbappe had to do was put the ball in the back of the net. Easier said than done, I guess. But not to worry, Mr. PR himself, Jude Bellingham, would step up at the 77th minute to find the equalizer for Madrid. A goal that would galvanize the team and allow them to push on for From here, Madrid would not be able to push on for the equalizer and would drop some massive points, meaning that after match day 19, and Barcelona would gain a vital 3 points this week. The following match week would prove to be an even more turbulent one in La Liga. Barcelona would find themselves away from home against bottom half of the table Getafe, and having just slaughtered Mallorca, there was a belief from Barca fans that they had finally turned a new leaf. Add to this the fact that Koundé was doing his best Edison Cavani impression and would open up the scoring in the 9th minute, and they were on dreamland. All this jubilation capitulation would come crashing down when Getafe found their equalizer in the 34th minute. From here would be a similar showing to what we saw against Atletico Madrid, as despite generating chance after chance, Barcelona would fail to get a second goal and would then drop a massive 2 points. Atletico Madrid this week was also playing a side that sat lower down the table, and having been on a 15-game winning streak, all signs pointed to a cakewalk for Atleti. But unfortunately, also being away from home, they would suffer a similar fate to Barcelona. Just like their Catalan rivals, Atleti generated chance after chance and even had some shots bounce off the frame of the goal, but Leganes would dunk on Atleti from a corner and manage to see out the rest of the game, as they would keep a clean sheet against the then league leaders. Seeing this opportunity, Real Madrid, who was also playing a bottom half of the table team, saw the opening and they knew they could not pass this up. So it was only right that they would proceed to obliterate Las Palmas 4-1, and despite conceding a goal 30 seconds into the match and missing a wide open goal 2 minutes later, Madrid's attack would prove to be way too much for Las Palmas to handle. A brace from Mbappe and goals from Brahim Diaz and Rodrigo would see Real reclaim their spot at the top of the table. So matchday 21 would see Atletico get the short end of the stick, as they had to play Villarreal, who was sitting in European places, while the other two had to play relegation candidates. Atleti this game showed hints of dominance but was never really able to get a good grasp on the game, and Villarreal at the 29th minute would win a penalty as Ronaldo attempted to murder Gerard Moreno, a penalty that would be slotted away after a weird attempt to save from Oblak. But with the power of Haram Ball and the fans on their side, Atleti would rally and get one back by Samuel Lino, but never really were able to threaten too much after that, would end up dropping the 2 points. For Real and Barca, they would make light work of their relegation opponent. Real essentially dominated Valladolid the entire match, and Mbappe had probably one of his best matches in a Madrid jersey so far. He'd get a hat-trick as Madrid pummeled them 3-0 away from home. For Barcelona, they would have their second 7th goal performance and didn't even give Valencia a chance to breathe. A massive win for Barcelona considering they hadn't won in their last 2 La Liga games. With these results, we'd end the match day with the same standings, but Barcelona was now just 2 points off of Atletico. As has been common all of these weeks, matchday 22 would prove to be a massive one. Real Madrid would travel to Barcelona but to play against Espanyol, who were sat in 18th place at the time. Having accumulated a 6-game win streak and Mbappe finally hitting that world-class form that we all expected from him, this for sure would be a walk in the park, right? Well, if you know anything about how much Catalanians hate Madristas, then you would know that's probably not going to be the case. See, despite scoring a goal that would be ruled out for a foul, Madrid never really threatened Espanyol too much. Los Periquitos generally were able to keep Madrid out of their box, and at the 85th minute would capitalize on a counterattack to sink a dagger into the match and steal a win. Some massive points being dropped from Real Madrid this week. Atletico this week would go up against Mallorca, and once again this Mallorca side wouldn't put up too much of a fight against a side near the top of the table. Atleti had a firm grip on the game in the first half and got their opener through Lino, and despite a slightly more back and forth second half, Fortnite's #1 fan would score an audacious chip at the death of the game to seal the 3 massive points for Los Colchoneros. And finally this week Barcelona would go up against Alaves, and although we did see Amal do his best Lionel Messi impression early in the first half, it was a pretty cagey affair. Flake would bring on the young to start the second half, and this change would be a positive one as this half Barcelona was all over Alaves. Lewandowski would get the opener at the 60th minute, and despite a solid performance from Alaves keeper Owono, who prevented the scoreline from getting out of hand, Alaves wouldn't be able to get a goal in response. So all things considered, a big win for Barcelona. Real dropping points this week would see the standings again stay the same, but now Atletico was just 1 point away and Barcelona just 4. And hear me out, I know I keep saying that every week is a crazy one and a massive one, because they are, but match day 23 saw Real Madrid going up against Atletico Madrid with just 1 point separating the sides. The first time these two played this season, it was a 1-1 draw that included a 20-minute pause in the game and a late equalizer from Atleti. As fans, we were ready for these teams to go to war, especially considering the fact that there was a spot at the top of the table ready for whoever won this game. But ultimately, the game would end up being a little disappointing on both ends. In the first half, neither side really got a grasp on the game, and it felt like there was just so much wasted possession from each team. A very soft penalty, which in my opinion wasn't even a penalty, was given to Atletico Madrid, which Julian Alvarez slaughtered away. He then proceeded to hit the Messi celebration. Early into the second half, Mr. Sometimes in the Life I Am Too Competitive found himself in the right spot at the right time and bagged an equalizer for Real. 1-1, opportunity to take the spot at the top of the table, 40 minutes left to play, and the rest of the game was an absolute snooze fest. Real did give Atleti an onslaught for about 10 minutes after the equalizer, but the game would eventually peter out to another 1-1 draw. Seeing the opportunity to gain vital points on both Madrid sides, Barcelona, who was away from home against Sevilla showed the Rojiblancos no mercy as they would wreck them 4-1, making this the 16th time this season Barcelona has scored 4 or more goals against an opponent. I just looked at United and I sighed. I can't believe that statistic. With this huge week for Barcelona, the standings say the same, but they were now just 1 point off Atleti and 2 points off Real. And finally, we have match day 24, which takes us to the point of this recording. And another week where the footballing gods have been showing their love to Barcelona specifically. Real would be away from home against Osasuna, where it seemed like they were so close to having an easy game. In just 15 minutes of action, Real was able to generate a ton of chances, and eventually Mbappe was able to find the opener. However, in a move that would give Real conspiracy theorists across the country more evidence, Jude Bellingham would be sent off at the 39th minute for allegedly saying "flip you" to one of the Spanish officials. According to Jude, Ancelotti, and even the audio, Jude actually says "flip off." However, the referee's English knowledge or lack thereof led to the confusion and Jude was given a straight red. Real missed Jude dearly this game because he's really the brains and the engine of this Madrid side. And without him, Osasuna was slowly able to get back into the game, eventually finding the equalizer in the 57th minute from the penalty spot. From here, Real would have no motion and they would end up dropping the 2 points. The other Madrid side wouldn't really have much luck either, as Atleti, who were hosting Celta Vigo, would also get a red card with Barrios doing his best Roy Keane impression at just the 7th minute. Having to play against 10 men and a Simeone system allowed for Celta Vigo to create multiple chances in the game, which eventually helped them to win a penalty that they would convert at the 67th minute. But with the support of their fans, against the run of play, Erling Haaland from Walmart would bully his defender and manage to get an equalizer to salvage a point. Barcelona once again had been gifted the perfect opportunity to gain vital points on their rivals, and all that slid in their way was Rayo Vallecano. Barcelona was on smoke this game and they applied so much pressure to that Rayo back line. Eventually they would slip up and at the 27th minute, Barcelona would win a penalty that Lewandowski would convert to secure his 20th for the league campaign. From here, Rayo had some flashes of chances for themselves, but they were never really able to challenge Barcelona significantly, and thus La Blaugrana would see out the match. With this, Barcelona, after capitalizing on the downfall of their opponents for the last handful of weeks, would finally surpass both Madrid sides and claim a seat at the top of the table. Over the last 6 weeks, we've seen all 3 of these teams take a claim as first on the table. That is absolute cinema. We have the Premier League, where Liverpool has been top of the table for God knows how long. This is where the real action is. The leagues, where the league leader changes constantly. This is where we should be paying attention to. There's only 14 games left, and these guys are literally within a point of each other. This is beautiful. This is football. None of that woke nonsense that we're starting to get used to. I can't even tell who's gonna win La Liga this year. Like I said earlier, Real Betis has not lost since Antony joined them. What if they win the league? Who knows? That's the beauty of it all. You guys can let me know who you think is gonna win in the comments down below, but all I know is that this league at the moment is peak football.